Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Tyshawn, aka coldlabz on social media. So in the last video, we actually created our own not Flappy Bird game, and now you have one for yourself. In this video, I said we was gonna make a Whac-A-Mole game, something like that. It's gonna be a little bit more sophisticated. Alright, so like I said before, we're gonna just view the game briefly before we actually create it. I know you guys see my little timer is counting down, and when you click on the actual, try to smack him with the hammer, the score goes up. The guy looks stunned, he looks a little bit dizzy, and I gave the actual background a title. It's called Whac-A-Mole. And then once the game ends, you see the little blue background, the restart button pops up, and when you click on it, it starts over. I know my characters might look a little bit silly, Miss Frizzle and all the rest of them, but let's look beyond that and let's focus on the most important thing. That's learning how to program and make your own video games. Alright, so if you guys are watching this on Udemy, you need to go into your folder and put this on your desktop. Make a folder and call it Game 3. But if you're not, you need to look at these dimensions real quick so you can make your own game. Alright, so I'm gonna open up this Game 3 folder right here real quick. And then the very first dude you see on here is the baddie, the bad guy. I made like a little blue cute squirrel thingy. I don't know what to call it. It's like Kirby, I don't care. But the dimension for this sprite sheet is 1500 times 100. So the width is 1500, the height is 100. Next, the BG, or the background, I'm going to change the name in the game anyways, is going to be 800 by 600 as usual. Next, the little hole that is going to be hopping out of is going to be 100 by 100, and you, the player, you're going to be a hammer. So you got to smack the little mole things. Your dimension is going to be 100 by 150. And then it's going to be an item on there. We're going to call it the restart BG and the restart button. So the restart BG is going to be 300 by 300, and then the restart button is going to be 250 by 150. So if you guys don't have the phaser.mis.js thing from phaser.io, if you go to that website and go on your right hand side, click on that 2 times, you're going to see phaser.mis in the center of their web page to download. Alright, so now let's go to our text editor real quick. Well, it's going to be a little long, but let's go to the text editor, open it up, and then on the left hand side, let's go ahead and make an index.html. Remember, we got a template that we already set to the desktop, so right click, go to new file, make index.html, and then right click again, new file, to make game.js. After that, I'm going to need you to go back to your desktop, and then double click on that new folder that we made that got the index.html in there, and then the Phaser game template. When we go to that, we double click on index.html, we highlight it, and after that you can copy it, Control C or whatever you might be doing, and then paste it in to the index.html file that's on your text editor. Then go back to that folder, double click on Phaser game template, highlight that, then copy and paste that into the actual game itself, game.js. Once you're done with that, I want you guys to go ahead and bring up your live reload to verify that everything's good to go. You should have a full blank screen, it should be all black with nothing on it. Alright, so we get ready to get started programming. So have you guys ever wondered how you go to a website and then it remembers some of your stuff? They have a thing called local storage. Local storage basically saves your information inside of the computer's web browser itself. The session storage only saves it in that browser for that moment. So once you click that off, everything you were doing on that page is no longer there. In this video game, seeing that we're not to go, like save something real big and everything, because if you're going to do something big in a mobile app or a website, you want to have a actual server host your stuff. So we're going to have this in the actual game, so we're going to just do local storage. So what we want to use local storage for in our case is just to save the score and the high score. So if you get a score, you want it to be saved in there, you exit the browser off, it come right back, the score's still there, you're using it, and then you want to see if you could beat the score. So we want to go ahead and save this into the browser. So in order to do that, we type var, variable, and then ls equals window dot local, then capital storage, and leave it at that. So now that variable represents the local storage of the actual window, because we're going to save all our stuff there. The next thing we want to do is talk about conditional operators. Long story short, a conditional operator is similar to an if-else statement, but it's like a one-liner. So let's try this out real quick. Instead of typing if 9 is less than 10, console.log meow else console.log woof. We could do this in a different way. Let's make a variable real quick, and let's write sound and then equals, and then just write 9 less than 10, then question mark, then console.log meow, and then put the little dots, and then console.log woof. And your output is going to say meow because there's only going to be one or the other. So we can use the same thing to actually save the actual local storage and stuff in the game. So one thing is going to say if it's equal to nothing, then make it say something else, and after that it's going to look for the secondary condition. That's how you actually save your game and look for a high score and things like that. So let's write this out so you can better understand it. So let's write saved and then capital score equals ls.getItem, and then open close, and then put the string score inside of it. Get item is how you get the actual score or the object that's saved into your web browser. And then put 3 equal symbols, then put the word null behind it, so null, and put a question mark like we did with the sound. The next thing we want to do is ls.setItem, and then put open close, and then a string score, then put a comma 0. So what that is saying is, if this is not even saved into the browser, go ahead and put it in the browser. You put it in that browser by doing set item. Get item is actually how you get that item. Then next, let's do ls.getItem, and then put open close score. So now that variable, that very first time, it's going to say, all right, is equal to nothing. So let's put score is equal to 0. And then the second time you actually call that variable, you're going to actually have that variable equal to 0 itself. I'm not exactly sure what's going on right now. So what I found that works out for the game and everything is you just double, copy this entire line and paste it in there right under itself. So now you got save score, ls.getItem. Just copy the whole line, paste it under itself, so it will load up in the game. So the very next thing we need to do is go to where it says g.init, and we're going to go ahead and plug this stuff in. Let's put score equals 0. Next, let's do time equals 30, and then let's put game, then capital over equals false, and then hitting equals false. So now having those 4 things there, let me tell you about that real quick. So the score obviously is going to be 0. Every single time the game starts, the score is going to automatically be 0. But we're going to use the actual get item and set item stuff above to actually compare it to that score. So if that score actually goes over the score that's saved, it's going to be the brand new score that's going to be represented. The time is the 30 seconds that we're going to be giving the player to actually try to get the highest score possible. The game over is, hey, once the game's over, the score and the ticker stop going, and hidden is going to be only activated when you actually get the hammer down. The next thing we want to do is talk about the word JSON. Not Jason like the serial killer dude, but it's J. All this is capitalized, so capital JSON. JSON typically is these are objects that save into strings and everything. You can actually pull the score from a string format and turn it to an actual number. So we're going to put inside there, we're going to call this then best, then score, then ever. And then we want to actually pull that score out and turn it to an actual number. In order to turn a JSON, a JSON word or string into an actual number, because it's going to be an object inside the browser, you type JSON, then dot, then parse, and then the actual thing you want to get turned to a number. So what we want to actually get turned into a number from an object, which is turned to a string inside a JSON, we're going to do save score. So save score is not an actual usable number inside of the game. After that, let's go down to the preload. Let's start loading in the assets, the images and all of this and that. So let's type this dot load dot image, then open close, then put the string restart capital BTN button, so then comma, then restart button again, because we called it restart button. Next line, let's put this dot load dot image, and then let's put restart BG, restart background. So the button gonna have its own little background. It's gonna take up the little screen a little bit, and then put comma, restart bg.png. Next, we want the actual background put on there. So let's put this dot load dot image, and then open close, then put the string bg in there. But this time, let's actually change this from bg to a different file name. It should already be changed if you're actually looking at this from the folder that I already put it in. But if you're looking at this on YouTube or something like that, I'm gonna change it right now. We're gonna change this from bg to bkg, so background. And now that that's done, let's put this dot load dot image, and then put the string player, and then comma player dot png. After that, we want to put the whole. So this dot load dot image, and put the string whole. After that, put a comma, then do string whole dot png. So now you got a whole, you got a player, you got the background, you got the reset button and its background. The next thing we need to do, like we did last time, we gotta put a sprite sheet in for the actual bad guy, not the player, the bad guy. So let's do this dot load dot sprite sheet, then do open close. After that, put the word baddie, baddie, and then comma, then baddie.png. And just like last time, we had to actually put the object inside there with it. So comma frame width 100, then comma frame height 100. After that, we good in the preload. All the stuff, all the little objects and stuff's loading to the game now. So let's move on down to where we got the create at. Let's type bg equals this dot add dot sprite, then open close 0, 0, then put bg. So now we got our actual background in here. After that, let's do dot set origin, open close, then 0. I know you guys hear me say open close a lot. These open close is not what it's called. These actual open close represents functions, because that's how you call a function. But open close is simple to remember. So the next thing we want to do is go to bg.setInteractive. That way we can actually interact with it. On the next line, we got two things we want to happen. One, we're going to use the method pointer down and then pointer up. So two different things are going to happen. So the first thing we're going to do is bg.on open close, then put the string pointer down. After you do that, put a comma, then you make the function. You put the word function, open close, and inside of that function you put the word pointer. Because what's going to happen is that the actual screen is going to be listening to where the pointer X and Y location actually is on the screen. So inside of that function, let's put header equals true. On the next line, let's do player dot body dot check, then capital collision dot none equals false. What that does, it says, all right, let's not look for him running into anything. So now, because you got, like, I think it's 4 different parameters or 5 different parameters. You got check up, down, left, and right, and check none. So right here we're trying to say they're checking none, so that's equal to false. On the next line, we're going to do player.x equals pointer.x, and then player.y equals pointer.y. Like I said before, what's going to happen when you click down on the screen is actually going to make the mouse move. The mouse, or if you're doing this on a cell phone, the actual object is going to move to wherever the pointer goes down there on the actual screen. So the next thing you want to do is player.alpha equals 1. So what happens is that alpha is going to change back to making the actual thing visible, because what we're going to do is make sure the alpha is kind of faint once we actually create the player, which we haven't done yet. So now let's do player.x minus equals 100, and then player.y minus equals 75. So what this is going to do is like kind of just take the actual position of the hammer and angle it up to your left hand side. After that,